Even in a bear market, there is still opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. And we're going to dive deep and talk all about what is happening in this NFT market. Brands are giving away $5 million for free, airdrops, new partnerships, new news. We're going to talk about all that and more only on Goats in the Metaverse, my friends. And I'm joined by my prestige colleague, Yasi. Welcome to the show. Let's get it started. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, fresh off the Art Basel vibes, excited about all the builders, all the things happening. And we're going to cover some of those today. But before we do that, let's get into the market. What is happening in the world of crypto, in the
Boom!
world of NFT?
Green!
Oh,
Art
yes. We have
Basel,
some up
let's
arrows.
go! You know what? I think we got to put more
Oh,
excitement out into the world, and it's going to go. It's going to go. We're going up. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. It's good to see some green out there, my friend. And what is happening with our shiny NFTs? Boom, mixed bag. Apes above
mixed
70.
bag.
Oof, woof. Pretty much everything is, I guess, around the same numbers, give or take. Big movements we're really seeing is in the ape community, mutants, and there's a reason for that. Today, ape staking goes live, and we're going to do a show exclusively about that later this week, where we tell you all about what it means to stake your ape coin. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you do not miss that show. What do you think over here? Anything stand out to you?
Well, it's good to see the apes are back, holding front spot. There was a time where CryptoPunks had flipped them. Everyone was bearish on the apes, and they're back up top. And still, most surprising for me is Azuki, over 10 ETH, 11.79 ETH, holding strong in this market. I saw some big Azuki sales happening over the past week. People buying Spirit Azukis coming into the community. So something going on in the Azuki world. And maybe we're at the end of the Zega Bond FUD, or at least the community seems to have forgiven him. And then most interesting for me is Fidenza, still holding strong, 95 ETH. I was at the Tyler Hobbs event at Art Basel, and Fidenza is still holding strong in this market, showing that blue chip art is blue chip, holding strong. So good activity there. Moonbird still taking a beating. Clonex, even despite their announcements, down. World of Woman hosting a huge gala dinner, also down. It's hard to be a tier 2, tier 3 project in this market.
Absolutely. I mean, the tension is where there's liquidity, and liquidity is really only in the top projects. But listen, that doesn't necessarily mean that, if you're a long-term believer, there is opportunity to buy right now. Hashtag not financial advice, do your own research. But it is riskier, right? I'm gonna make the assumption that some of those projects that are sitting around that 2 ETH mark that were once almost blue chips or 1As, whatever you want to call them, some of them might not be here when it's all said and done. So, but at the same time, some of them might be there and some of them might go back into that 1A blue chip category. And there's a lot of delta there. So if you're a believer, and there's definitely moves to be made. But tread carefully. Well, let's talk about what what announcements, if any, were made in the last week. Yasi, what happened?
Couple of big announcements. Uniswap, the well-known decentralized exchange, announced their launch of their own NFT platform on the Uniswap protocol, announcing that NFTs are now live and they're airdropping $5 million in USDC. That's US dollars to historical Genie users. People who use Genie were able to claim an airdrop. Typically, from airdrops, we see that coming out in their native token. And you see price fluctuation of that. Interesting to see here that it's being done in US dollars. I claim $900 for being a Genie user,
Wow.
and got some free moolah. So if you've done any trades on genie.xyz, you should go over to Uniswap and go to NFTs, connect your wallet, and see if you have anything to claim. What's new and interesting about the Uniswap NFT platform? They're saying that they are allowing for the purchase of multiple NFTs in one transaction, which will save you up to 15% on gas. So you're able to scoop up more NFTs more quickly. And in this market, gas fees, not such a big thing. But if you remember back to the bull market, we were spending sometimes $500 to thousands of dollars on gas fees. So that is pretty big. The other side of things is that it is an aggregator, so it collects the listings from all major marketplaces, giving you the view across the board of what is out there. Uniswap competing with Blur over here. We've seen that feature being done before, but using Gem, the platform that they purchased, to be able to do that. Good to see a decentralized exchange coming into the space, and more places to trade, I think, is good overall for the industry. So great to see a brand like Uniswap coming in.
Yeah, and listen, I'm going to assume that in years to come, there's probably going to be, a clear-cut winner. Maybe there's a few clear-cut winners, and even if they don't necessarily succeed, right? I think these brands are doing this, mergers and acquisitions, right? They could either get bought out or they could buy out the other platforms. So it's definitely smart, and I think it's a good tool for traders, right? If you're looking for that alpha, if you're looking for that delta, to find opportunities, you have the opportunity right here. So I'm definitely interested in playing around with that, even though I'm not a trader, and seeing how that works. And congratulations to you, $900. And I think that's the most interesting part about it, right? Like, if somebody told you in the real world you could go claim $900 on some website, you would probably not even listen to that person, right? Because you would be like,
I think it's a scam.
scam, fraud, BS. No way I'm putting my information and going to do this. And even though there's a lot of scams out in Web3, some of these brands are trusted. And when we say, and there's a lot of kind of protocols in place where people go read the contracts and say this contract is safe and you could go and go do this and actually claim it. So another win for the space.
Yeah, and this goes to the thesis behind why these crypto networks will ultimately win. It's all about incentives, and you can incentivize early users for using your platform and reward them. This is about true rewards, because it's people who actually use the platform before you knew there was any kind of incentive to do so. But we've seen this playbook play out a couple of times. I remember one of these shows we spoke about ENS names, the name service, and that you got airdrop tokens there. At one point in time, that was worth $20,000 or $30,000 if you sold your ENS tokens. And that is what you're able to do here. Imagine Uber coming to you and saying, we are going to reward you for every ride you have taken for being an early user on our platform in Uber coins or in US dollars. And that is what we're seeing happening time and time again, to bring these networks to incentivize people onto these platforms from the market and from these protocols. So expect to see more of that to come. And the last thing out of Uniswap, what's interesting for them is they've seen Coinbase come after the exchange world, the NFT marketplace world, and failed. We've seen a number of different attempts trying to take away market share from OpenSea, and most have failed. So let's see what happens with Uniswap if this decentralized approach, where they have a large user base in the DeFi world, can that translate into NFTs?
What's your prediction?
My prediction is that we're going to see new stuff coming out of Uniswap. As it stands today, I don't think they're going to get much attention, but what we're going to start seeing what Uniswap knows how to do is liquidity pools. The ability to be able to swap in and out of different NFT communities, the ability to lend against and borrow against, and providing all this financialization of NFTs that isn't being done in OpenSea, isn't being done in Blur, and rarely playing to Uniswap's strengths. And I think if they start playing into that, we'll see Uniswap starting to take some real market share, because that is a space that they can dominate.
Great. I'm ready. Let's go. Another big announcement, and probably one of the biggest announcements, was RTFKT coming out and saying we're here. We're merging the digital and the physical. I know you visited their booth in Art Basel. Give us the overview firsthand. I know you're impressed. What is it? What does it mean? I'm a big sneaker collector, so I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, so Artifact came out with their Artifact WM chip, is what they're calling it, and with a WM enabled Artifact physical item. I think there's a couple. They called it the Space Strip or the Nike Air Force Ones, or an Artifact Nike HR AR hoodie. You can link your physical device with your phone. And then that gives you the ability to do dynamic things. You can use your sneakers that you have to get authentication into in real life quests and unlock events. You are able to use that to upgrade the augmented reality of your sneaker. So you could be wearing a piece of physical sneakers, and they could have certain traits, and you can upgrade them in the virtual world with this linkage. If you attend an event, maybe you get a different skin or a upgrade to your pair of sneakers. And think of all of the interoperability that can happen with that. Let's use a game like Fortnite. This isn't what can be done, but this is where it can go. You have a pair of sneakers. You can wear them in Fortnite. You go to a specific event. Maybe it's a concert of your favorite artist or your musician. And all of a sudden, your Fortnite skin changes completely because you were at the event and you're an OG because you were there wearing your sneakers. That's the type of interplay that we're going to start seeing. An Artifact leading the charge with that, what they're calling a WM chip enabled within their devices. Sorry, within their
Yeah,
physical items.
and I mean, there's so many different variations of it, right? When Apple came out with the iWatch, people were kind of skeptical and saying, "Is this really going to work?" But a lot of people use their iWatch and they love it for a lot of different reasons, on top of talking on the phone or texting, because it's capturing their body information. It could help them with their golf game. There's fitness involved, but at the same time, you go on the other side of it. You got Pokemon Go. Do you remember the Pokemon Go craze where everybody was walking around with their phones like this on scavenger hunts,
Interpols,
trying
yeah.
to earn interpols, trying to collect coins? And then you have the third side of it where you go into a VIP room, right? You have the wristband. I was at a party on Thursday and you had to have the wristband to get into that VIP room, and that's where everybody wanted to be. So we know that kind of culture of celebrity, and you have to have the pass. Now, Nike has the opportunity to kind of hit on all three of those things in different ways, right? You have that chip, we could give you these types of incentives, or you could go to certain locations and collect points or coins or whatever it is that they decide to introduce. Or, hey, wear your sneakers and let's track that data, right? I mean, there's so many different ways here that this could be incorporated into the real world, and it probably will. The technology is obviously there. Now they're going to go and test what do the people want, what's going to work for them, how is it going to be on brand, and I'm sure as the years go on, they're going to introduce all the different types of, all these types of ways that they could be used, which is cool, right? I mean, like, you think of it from one way, you're like, it's like, I remember when the iPhone, the Apple Watch came out, and I was like, this is so intrusive. It's like, do I really want it
And
to
now,
like?
and now you're welcoming it every day.
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
wear one, but like I know like people have the Whoop, which measures like your sleep and all that stuff. Like it's giving you data. It's giving you data to improve your health. I mean, there's as long as you could find a way to connect to the person and say there's an added benefit to you, um, you're probably gonna buy it. You're probably gonna buy into it. And Nike has a lot of those ways that they could kind of bring it to the market. So kudos to them. And I don't know what it means for Clone X, but it's definitely, in my opinion, a push in the right direction.
It is a push in the right direction. If you are a CloneX holder, you are able to claim a egg which is part of their Project Animus. We can go into more detail on another show, but that has come out. So for CloneX holders, go and claim your egg. You can also go and purchase some of these crypto kicks on the Artifact website. The Nike Dunk ones are still available. And you can be an OG collector in this space. Floor price for those right now is 0.495 ETH. So you're about a $600 pair of sneakers coming out of the Artifact world. Last big announcement, or if you haven't been paying attention in the bear market thinking, there is no alpha, nothing's going on. SoundXYZ has hit an all-time high. What is SoundXYZ? And what does that mean for the normal person in this world? Well, Sound.xyz is a NFT marketplace for musicians to create new soundtracks, new music. New albums and release them in new ways. As a fan, you are able to download the album or the first track pre-release before everyone else as an NFT. Maybe that gives you access to the artist or the musician or to the concerts or show. There's a whole bunch of benefits that can be added beyond the music on that NFT marketplace. And this is a new way for musicians to be bringing out new music before it hits the streaming services, and you can be there first. Thinking of buying like a Genesis vinyl, that's the equivalent that's there. So SoundXYZ, seeing numbers jumping every month and compounding. If you're not paying attention there, that's where I would be looking, because that is the next alpha in the music space in NFTs.
Boom. All we do is drop alpha, 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 alpha. We hope you enjoyed this show. Leave a comment below. What was your favorite part of the show today, folks? We'll be back later this week where we're going to be talking about ApeCoin staking. A lot of alpha going to be there, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and tune in. Hope everybody has a great week. We'll see y'all soon.